Hey guys, it's Bennett. I'm back with another PSA submission. This one's a little bit smaller and went out separately from that larger group of cards in the last 3 reveal videos. I sometimes like to break the submissions up. I don't like to send anything out that's over 80 or 90 cards, just because I start to get worried about all of them going sort of into the same grading chute for the same grader. And as we've seen in these last couple of videos, PSA isn't necessarily, well, let's put it this way, not all the graders are created equal. So I broke these off. There are some bigger cards in here. There's a Mahomes Downtown in here that I'm pretty excited about. It's not a rookie, but there's a Mahomes Downtown that that looked really, really beautiful to me, and I pulled it myself. And anytime, you pull these kinds of cards out of packs yourself, I don't know, for me, they give me a little more juice. There's a little more juice to the cards than if I've had them pulled in a break, or if I've, let's say, bought them online and then decided to sub them. So since that's a card I actually pulled out of a pack myself, it kind of holds a different place for me as far as my collection's concerned. Anyway, I just pulled it out of the outer box. I'm going to open this up. No, I'm not. I need to cut it. Okay, there we go. I'm going to open this up. Let's take the cards out. We will put them face down as always. I'll split them into 2 piles. And we'll get to work and see what we got. Okay, as always, I'll stop to pause and speak about anything that I think is interesting about the cards. Otherwise, we're just going to take a look at the grade and see how we did. This is, this was out of, what was this out of? I don't even remember what set this was out of, but this is Riley Green and Nick Quintana. This was low numbered. It's a dual auto. And it got, it's at a Bowman Draft, of course. And it got a 10. Very nice. We haven't heard much about Quintana, but this is supposed to be Riley Green's sort of shot to break out, so hopefully we get that. That's number 13 out of 50, and that's a nice looking card. Okay, good. Looks like we might have pulled ourselves maybe a better grader. Who knows? This is a Tatis rookie out of Series 1. I'm looking for him to come back and have a pretty decent year this year. We'll see what goes on. We'll see if he can put all those thoughts about performance-enhancing drugs behind him and start to play like he's played in the past. We'll see how forgiving the baseball world is. Got a 9. All right, these cards, the value on these cards is not really, held up anyway. Actually, this is a 20. This is a second-year Tatis. Is that right? Yeah, all right, this is a second-year Tatis. This is the Gold Cup. Not entirely sure why that went in. Anyway, there you go. Got a 9. This is a second-year Jaylen Brown. This is out of Prism. It's numbered to 25. I think it's the Aqua. Brown sometimes gets lost in Tatum's shadow a little bit, but don't kid yourself. Jaylen Brown is one hell of a basketball player, and he's having a great career. And that got a 10. Very cool. That's out of 17 Optic, and it got a 10. Like I said, it's a second-year Brown. Here's more Zion. I think this is, this is Mosaic. It's one of the reactives. I can't remember which one. Zion, they say, is recovering from the hamstring. Will be back for the playoffs, so we'll see. God knows we all hope he can stay healthy. And that got a 10. All right, so far so good. It looks like our grader may be a pro this time around for this sub. Here's an Anthony Volpe. Can't get much hotter than this guy in the industry right now. First player, I think, since Billy Hamilton to steal a base in each of his first 3 professional games, and only the 5th player ever in history, something along those lines. Kid looks really, really comfortable in the big leagues. We've been hearing a lot about him, and that's out of Sapphire. Got a 9. I think I graded another one of these recently as well. Anyway, got a 9. We're looking for big things from Anthony Volpe in the Bronx. Here's a Dwayne Wade rookie. These in a 10 have a lot of value. We're hoping for a 10, and we got an 8. Oh, well. And this one's a little bit off. This corner's a little bit soft. I saw that when I sent it in. When I said hoping for a 10, we were really hoping for a 10. Got an 8. An 8's probably fair. I got to tell you, so far, we've looked at 6 cards. All of them have gotten pretty fair grades. So kudos to whomever this was at PSA. I'm assuming this is not one of their new hires. And let's move on to the next card. We have a Luka. This was a second-year Luka Silver out of Prism. This got a 9. Okay. This one I thought was going to 10, frankly. But even a 9, it's Luka, it's a silver. I mean, the Mavs are really, really, really struggling. It's funny, I just read a quote from Luka where he was saying that he thought that once they got Kyrie, they would really take off, and now they've lost 4 or 5, and things aren't going the way he thought they would. I mean, I don't know why anybody picking up Kyrie Irving would think he would do anything but blow up your team, right? Chemistry has to be terrible. The guy's a hell of a basketball player, but he just seems to be a completely ridiculous human being. So, I don't know. You put him around other people, serious or not, you got to figure he's not going to work out real well. Eventually, teams will get the hint. Anyway, that's a 9. Put that aside. This is a Bryce Harper Superfractor. This is out of 21 contenders. But it's as you can see, it's a 101 Superfractor. Hoping for a 10. I really like Harper. He should be back, I think, mid-season with that injury. Some of the injury bug has gotten him, but I mean, don't kid yourself. Bryce Harper is one hell of a baseball player. And that got a 9. All right, not the end of the world. As you've heard me talk about before, when you're dealing with Superfractors, population count on these is going to be 1 no matter what. So whether it's a 9 or a 10, even an 8, it's still a Superfractor of a star player from a product that I really like the design of. So happy to have that. All right, we're on to the second half. This is a Kawhi. This is out of 18, I think. Is that a 2000? No, is that a 19 Prism? It's a Tiger. I was like, why the hell did I get this graded? This is a 19. It got a 9. All right. I really like the Tiger Stripe design. And Kawhi is another guy, like I was just talking about Bryce Harper in baseball. Kawhi has had an incredible career. He's been injured of late, which has sort of taken the shine off of Kawhi Leonard a little bit. But if the Clippers can make a run and he can somehow win a 3rd championship with a 3rd different team, I think you really got to start to look at him as one of those, transcendent players who can make it happen, who is as Reggie Jackson put it in the 70s, the straw that stirs the drink. Anyway, there's a Kawhi Tiger. This was a cool card. This is this one I didn't pull. This one I picked up from a buddy of mine. This is Conor McGregor. This is out of 2014. It was a product called UFC Knockout. But this is one of the earliest cards for Conor McGregor. And it's funny, you think of Conor McGregor, this big tough guy. Look at his measurements. 5'9", 145 pounds. He's built like a model. He's built like a runway model. 5'9", 145. I mean, maybe 145 might be a little hefty for a runway model, but you get the point. He's a featherweight. People forget that sometimes when you're looking at Conor McGregor. Now these cards, a little thicker stock. This card had been around a little bit. I'm not anticipating a 10 or even a 9 on this. I'm hoping for an 8. Got a 7. All right. It's still a cool card, though. Isn't that a cool card? He looks pretty young, doesn't he? And the guy, look at the guy he's on top of. I'm guessing that's not a staged picture, but that guy looks terrifying. Look at him. It's hard to believe McGregor's been around this long, right? Because he's really been a pretty big name in this sport for a while. Really from the beginning. So that's a cool card to have. Now this card went in. He was going to the Nets. I really thought he was going to revive his career. I picked this up really cheap. I said, let me grade it. It's Panini 1-in-1, which is a really high-end product, one I like. It's a Downtown. It's not his rookie, but it's Ben Simmons, who now is out again, whose agent is saying he's going to be back healthy next year. I've pretty much given up on Ben Simmons. Let's see. Got a 9. I mean, it's a beautiful card. It's a beautiful card. It's just a beautiful card of a clown of an individual. sort of in the Kyrie Irving vein, I guess. Not contributed anywhere near as much basketball wise, but just as far as a real head case. Anyway, got a 9. I don't even know if a 10 would have been particularly valuable at this point. This is Michael Porter Jr. It's a rookie. Got a 9. I wonder why I sent that in. It's not a hollow. He must have been on a tear or something. Occasionally when I'm putting these submissions together, I don't know why I said submission like that. When I'm putting submissions together, sometimes if a guy is hot or if he's playing particularly well, cards will make it into these submissions, and then when you look at them months later and they come back, you sometimes say to yourself, I wonder what I was thinking at the time. I couldn't tell you, but I maybe should start taking some better notes on the front end of these submissions. There you go. That's MPJ. This is a Duncan rookie out of, I think this was Fleer Flair, which I still was collecting cards sort of at the tail end of my collecting career before I picked it back up again a few years ago. I collected the Flair in particular. I like these cards. They're impossible to 10. Getting 9s and even 8s on these cards is pretty good. So that's sort of what I'm looking for. Got an 8. And you can see it's the Fleer Flair Showcase. These were expensive cards in 97. They really were. Compared to the rest of the SKUs out there on the market. And this is row 3. There's row 2, row 1. It's sort of like the classes on what is it on? I forgot what baseball product now, but it's sort of like that. Or you have like concourse level or field level. It's sort of like that. They had like a row 1, 2, 3. I can't for the life of me remember now which one was the best, frankly. But love Duncan. The big fundamental. Really described who he was and how he played, but one of the greatest, if not the greatest 4 to ever play the game in Tim Duncan. All right. This is a Cam Newton rookie. Newton is now trying to make a comeback. I don't know if you've seen this. He hasn't played in, I think, like a year or 2. He's trying to make a comeback. That got a 9. It's at a Topps Chrome. All right, 10 would have been better. Talk about a guy who had a tremendous amount of potential and then begged off diving for a fumble in the Super Bowl, and I don't think he was ever the same. Anyway, there's Cam. All right, here is the big card from this particular submission. This is a Patty Mahomes Downtown at a 21 optic. This card looked perfect when I pulled it, went right into a sleeve, right into a top loader, and went out to PSA, clean, wiped, ready to go. This grader, whoever was grading this submission, seems to have an idea of how to grade cards. It doesn't seem like one of these newer people that PSA has brought in. So I'm hoping. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love downtowns. Downtowns are so cool. Look how cool that card is. And that's our boy Patty. Look at that guy. And that's a 10. That's a downtown. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's a good card. That's a great card. I'm happy to have that. Cool. And the last card in this submission is I think this is a first Bowman of Ronald Acuna. Yeah, it's a first Bowman of Ronald Acuna. So this would have been 2017, I believe. Acuna is off to a pretty good start this year. I think he's going to have a good season. We just need him to stay healthy. And that got a 10. Very nice. Very cool. There you go. We talk about how young these guys look. I mean, Acuna still looks really young. He is really young, but he looks like he's 12 years old here. That's a great picture. That's a great card. And it's a nice way to end the submission. All right, PSA, whoever graded this submission gets an A+. Those are fair grades. They're a little bit tough in a couple of cases, but they're totally fair. No complaints with PSA in this video. And that's it for me. Till next time.